Hello, welcome to SEE Blissfully-lit Podcast. I'm your host, Sammy White, and today we have an incredible special guest, Miss Valerie Massie. Miss Valerie guides women to balance their body, release emotional baggage, and deepen intuition. As a Reiki Master, yoga instructor, and certified holistic nutrition coach, she takes women on a journey of wellness, building their strength and physique internally and externally. Welcome, Valerie. I'd love to begin by giving you the floor and introducing yourself to our guests. Share a little bit about you.
Yay! I'm so excited to be here. I love doing podcasts because usually when I do them for an audience, nobody knows me generally. So it's like, yay, I get to be just, I don't know, nobody, like no strings attached, right? Like just myself. And without expectations, which is just like a limiting belief system that I have anyway, but I'm just super excited to be here. You might hear my son in the background. He's hanging out. He's 2. But yeah, my name is Valerie, and I'm currently pregnant. I'm 22 weeks pregnant right now. And yeah, my 2-year-old. I also have a stepson who's 16. So I have a toddler and a teenager. It's
Double
pretty
whammy.
exciting around here. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm married. I've been married since 2022 to my husband. I even have this little, like, my sister gave me this thing. It has our astrology on it. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but it has like his Libra symbol and my Capricorn. You can't quite see it, but it's really pretty. And it has our anniversary day. And it was one of the most magical days of my life. And yeah, I've been on this journey of healing and self-discovery. I just had an awakening that slowly started happening since about 2015. That has been unfolding and has led me to yoga and holistic healing and diving deeper into myself. I grew up on a dairy farm in West Central Wisconsin, and my parents had really good, hardworking, like farming values. So a big part of our identity growing up was we were farmers. Like we knew how to raise cows and chickens and work hard and do all the things to, be the top highest achieving dairy farm in the county. And we did 4-H and FFA, where I would show animals at fairs and, try to get that trophy blue ribbon chicken or sheep or cow or whatever. And it was a lot of like external validation, I feel like. I mean, yes, I enjoyed my time outside and like being with my chickens and stuff like that, but I feel like a huge part of who I was and like within my family was this like going after the blue ribbon and going after like recognition and stuff like that. And it was confusing for my soul because I had like this spiritual, like I've always been super spiritual. Like I was always kind of more mystical, I guess you could say, in my thoughts and philosophies. And then outside, everybody's like so concerned about achievement and stuff like that. And I wanted that acceptance, but I didn't know how to get it. I just, so then in my, let's see, I was like 17 or so, I started drinking alcohol, just like a coping. And first it was more of like a social, but then it was like, wow, I found this alcohol. It's like covering up this ego and all these feelings that I was not able to process or outlet. And I was like, yes, finally, like some relief from just the life that I had. And that took me on this like, I mean, there's like I was talking with one of my friends who's 2 years sober from alcohol just yesterday, and I was like, man, the longer I stay sober now, the more I realize that alcohol did affect every part of who I was and how detrimental it was. At the time, I just thought, oh, this is fun. I'm living for the weekends, living for that party, having so much fun with my friends, dancing at the bars, underage drinking, running around, being wild and this and that. But um, it really took me away from who I was, that like innocent little girl and this magic, like you mentioned magic, so that's just like really on my mind right now. Like it took me away from that, pulled me away from my truth, and it really got me confused and lost. So I went to college at the University of Wisconsin River Falls, of course, for animal science, because that's what all my friends were doing. That was kind of like the expectation of my family. Both my grandparents were farmers. Um, my dad's side, they moved here from Germany. My grandma's moved here from Germany in like 1917, 1914, somewhere in there. And they started a farm. And then my mom's side, their farming family goes back 4 or 5 generations, as far as I know. They just celebrated the farm being in their ownership or that land for over 150 years a couple of years ago. So the roots ran deep, and that was where I went. I ended up going to college for animal science, and I graduated in 3.5 years with a degree in animal science with crop and food science minor, and then poultry management was my emphasis. So of course, all the chicken farms in the United States, they promote scholarships and stuff like that for students pursuing a career in eggs or chickens or broilers or meat production. So I had a pretty well free ride through college. And when I graduated, I had lots of opportunities, lots and lots. I had job opportunities in almost nearly every agriculture state in the Midwest, even out in California, Hawaii, Vermont, Maine. I had all these job offers. But for some reason, Southern Indiana really stuck out to me. They actually offered to like give me a hotel, fly me out there, do an in-person interview, and pay for the hotel and all this. And I just felt really drawn there because it was one of the more southern states that offered a job to me. I think there was somewhere in Florida too, but I just didn't want to move that far away from home in Wisconsin. So I left my hometown and moved to Indiana in 2014. I just turned 22. And I worked on one of the nation's largest egg farms, so shell eggs. This company provides a majority of shell eggs to the eastern side of the Mississippi, and they had millions of chickens, like 20 some million chickens. And the farm I worked at had almost a million hens on the site. So they wanted me to be a manager trainee. So that's what I did. I ran around with crews and managed crews and made sure the chickens got fed and the eggs got out every day and made it to the semis to go off to Walmart or Kroger or whatever stores. And I did that for 5 years, all the while struggling internally with who I was and what mattered to me. At first, I got into that job and I quickly like rose up the corporate ladder. I started out as a trainee. In a year, I was up to assistant manager of this farm, and within 3 years, I was the manager of production. And they were offering me some big money when I left. It was like somewhere around 120,000 a year to be a executive on the executive leader position for this really large company. And they were showing me the lifestyle, like you could have this kind of house, this is who you're eventually going to be for us, is this CEO of management and this and that. And there was just something inside that was like really just moving through me. Like I was just angry. I was like, ugh, I don't care about this stuff. I don't want the money. I had a good house. Like I was married at the time to my first husband, and I had the car. I mean, perfect insurance. I had really nice 401k retirement set up, like 20 some thousand in the bank, saving up for 401k, and just really, really safe and secure lifestyle. But at the same time, like something was missing. And in 2019, right before the pandemic, March of 2019 was my last day there. And leading up to it, probably like 4 or 5 months prior to that, I really started leaning into what I had been called to, and that was teaching yoga classes. I was teaching yoga 3, 4 days a week in the evenings. I was doing a lot of like YouTube, posting YouTube videos of yoga, trying to like build a following on YouTube, and gaining some momentum there. I also, in my journey, came across Reiki healing. And I laid down on the table for the first time doing Reiki because I was confused. I was so lost. I was, like I said, drinking, but I was also having like these side affairs with my coworkers, which was so, so painful because I was hurt. I was looking for love, but I was like trying to find it in these people, and then having to like show up as this working manager and then also like living this double life. And I was married, and it was just a whole conundrum. It was just such a life of lies. And I remember trying to call my mom one time and just not being able to even speak the words of like what I was going through out. And I just really, a couple, like maybe a year or so before I left that job, I literally was just like at my wit's end. I was just like, I don't want to be alive anymore. I don't want this life. I don't want any of this. Get me away, because there's all these toxic relationships and these guys like manipulating and blackmailing me. But I created that. I totally created that, but it was unintentional. It was like it was unconscious behavior. I just didn't know a better way. So having had these tools, and I had a business mentor that was really into spiritual development that guided me. I was trying to build a business, but he was more of like trying to heal my soul. In
Mhm.
hindsight, it's 2020. He was just trying to teach me different reframes of like how to talk to myself, build up my self-esteem, so that I wasn't seeking this outside validation from men and alcohol. Anyway, I had left that job because I wanted to get away from all that toxicity and just the money and everything, and everything about it just was I was so done with it. And building up my Reiki clientele really just kept me focused on something that was greater than myself, for a purpose and a mission. And I was in small town Indiana. I mean, we're in the Bible Belt over here, and I'm over here spreading about energy healing, and people were calling me like a pretender and a clown, and like I was posting on Facebook and everything, and I was getting these names and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? These people have no clue. They have no idea. They're just ignorant. So I just continued to share the message. And to this day, I mean, I've probably worked with at least 1,500 clients with Reiki or yoga. Um, so, and it's funny how like addiction works. I was jumping from like the validation from men and alcohol to like the food addiction. I had been working for myself for about a year, and went from like 171 pounds to 102 or 202 pounds, gaining all this weight. And I knew I was stuffing, like I was literally stuffing my emotions by binge eating. And I just made a post today about like the sugar cravings I used to deal with. Just the stress of being a new business owner, all the challenges of having clients and a busy workload, and not really knowing what I was doing or what I was supposed to do and how to work with money and all this. And that was an interesting journey to heal it too, because, it's like these symptoms I found out were all underlying problems to my disconnection with source, disconnection with spirit and my own soul. So I had to go back to that work that I did, in 2019 when I left, to go back to doing the shadow work, going inward and figuring out what was the cause and conditions of binge eating. And I hired a nutrition coach who really helped me understand macronutrition and calorie balancing and balancing my hormones too. I was perimenopausal, I found out when I was 26, and
Mm.
I'm 33 now and currently pregnant. So yay, hormones. But at the time it was like I was dealing with like fatigue and just I just felt like I could be better, and I learned so much about nutrition and gut health and how to manage like the physical side of nutrition and fitness and recovery so that I had the energy and life and vitality that I wanted to have, carrying out my mission as a yoga teacher and helping other women to also feel that freedom I had felt the first time I did Reiki, and like going into my first yoga class, it was like, oh, finally, like just that weight coming off. I just wanted to teach women that. I just was so, so excited to get that out there. But at the same time, my body was holding me back, and doing that work was
Yeah.
really profound. And yeah, I'm still at it. Still at it. I got divorced from my first husband. It was 2000, and it's during pandemic days. It's a hard time for my
Yep.
business because everything went from like in-person Reiki and yoga. I was doing these classes and Reiki classes and in-home yoga personal training. And people were like, don't come to my house. Like, it's not you. I just don't want to get sick or whatever. So that transition was a little bit of a challenge for sure. I won't say it wasn't. But just one day, it's like, I mean, I'm not saying divorce is for everybody, but for me, that point in my life, I was done. I didn't know it was time for me to walk away from that. It wasn't like it was bad. It was just mm, not a good fit, I guess. I didn't have the tools or know how to like stay in that relationship in a way that I knew possible. Spirit just told me like, move on. It was like the most peaceful divorce ever. We were just slowly decoupled, and it wasn't like super traumatic really. I didn't even cry about it until maybe 2 years later. I finally like had like a grieving moment. But that's what I did, and in 2021, I was like, after I got divorced, I was pretty well just like finding myself. I was spending lots of hours in the gym and going to retreats and just taking care of my soul, and my husband now came into my life, and it was a God thing. It was like somebody that I wouldn't have ever expected. I was just being me. I was really studying. I don't know if you've ever heard of Patricia Allen, her book Getting to I Do. It's on Carl Jung's philosophies around yin and yang energy and like how to be feminine. So I was working on my feminine energy as of most of my life. I was doing the masculine, like even with my ex-husband, I wore the pants in that relationship. Like I was the one that like initiated everything. Like I was the planner, I was the doer. I was the one that like carried the leadership in that relationship for sure. And I wanted to be feminine. I was like leaning way back. And my husband now is so different than than my ex-husband, because he is very much like a leader in our relationship. And I'm like still learning, like consciously making that effort to let him lead, let him be the leader in our relationship, and like speaking from a place of feelings, and um, just being more respectful, and um, taking care of me and loving myself, and like letting that love just carry me. And then the relationship works a lot different than my first relationship. So it's funny to say this, but I didn't want to ever have kids. Like I was never drawn. I was the oldest of four. I was always taking care of my little siblings. Like having babies was not something I was ever really wanting. My husband, he's 12 years older than me and has already had three kids of his own. The youngest was 13 when we first got together. So when we started dating, I was like, no kids. Like, I'm not interested in that. I already have my purpose, my mission with what I do with my business. Like, I'm not really interested in like putting any babies around. Like, maybe adopting, maybe. But I already have these step kids, bonus kids. Like, it'll be great. Well, something changed like quickly after we got engaged. I was pregnant, and I don't like, I was just like, wow, what a change. Like what in the world? I can't believe I'm saying yes to this. Because he was like, I feel bad. Like we should at least have one kid together. I mean, you have to deal with my three other kids. So let's do your own. And it was a wild journey there too, because um I was scared. I was like, what do I do? But I went the natural route and got a midwife nurse, and I ended up going, you might know this place up in Indianapolis. It's called Sacred Roots Birth and Wellness Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I've-
where I went. Yeah. Yeah. And I really, really loved their care. And I just felt like the healthiest I've ever been during that pregnancy, too. Well, up until that point, that was the healthiest I ever felt. Like they really focused on like a holistic, like they focused on nutrition and lifestyle habits versus like, oh, you need to do this medication or whatever to alleviate acid reflux or yeast infection. Like they talked about like different alternative ways to handle all that, and it was so beautiful and so supported. And I got a lot of Reiki done while I was pregnant with my son, and did so much cacao ceremonies with during my pregnancy, like for with myself and even for others too, in larger groups or virtual circles and stuff. And my son is like, the delivery just went so fast. I was in active labor for 3 hours, and I pushed for about 15 minutes, and they said, reach down, his hair is right there. And
Oh,
he came out, I was standing up. And that was definitely for those moms out there, that moment, like your life just changed when you get that first baby in your hands. It's like, wow, this child is completely and entirely, needs my care. And do you know about the projector? Do you know about the projector aura type?
so I've heard a little bit about,
Like
is it?
human design. Yeah. So I'm a human design projector aura type. So that is the energy type that doesn't have its own energy. Like I need other people's energy to have like motivation and the ability to carry out tasks and things. Like we're here to guide and influence others through like our just being, like
Yeah.
just our presence. Like we're literally here just to like see others, which is so crazy to me. I just have to keep remembering that because the more I just like sit and listen to people, the more I feel like that's where my connection is. Versus like going out in the world and getting that blue ribbon and trophy for my chicken. Like it's like not about that for us projectors. Which being a mother in this energy is very interesting because like I get so tired. I love my child to infinity and beyond, and I get so exhausted. I was talking to my therapist who owns her own recovery business, and she's just such an awesome therapist. It's like talking to another business owner, and just she's really wise and into the holistic approach. But she's like, I bet you go to bed and you're just so exhausted at the end of the day. I said, yeah, for sure. Like being a mom is like a learning thing for me because I really get to ask for help probably a lot more because projectors are 17% of the population. Most of the population falls under the generators. I think generators are about 80 some percent of this of our culture and our society, and they have their own energy, so they're able to like work and carry out things on their own when they're in their alignment and everything. Where even me on my best day, I really need other projectors, other generators to be around me to influence my motivation and my ability to carry out and do things. we're really here to just like I was a little kid, I always just kind of seen into things. It wasn't about what I did. It was about how I looked at the world and waited for the invitation is a big thing with projectors, waiting for the invite to speak when asked and get that, I guess, that extra bit of, not to like sound like overly like I know everything, but like get our perspective and our insight on things is deeper, or maybe really, really, really helpful for some people. So,
Yeah, I relate to those qualities.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, in reflection on the projector versus the generator and being a projector, what are some daily practices or routines that you feel like really are just non-negotiable and you need to do them because they really help you throughout the day?
Yeah. That's so true. It's like self-care is like 100% important.
Yeah.
And also sleeping, prioritizing sleep is very important for me. Um, I mean, there's phases in my life where I'm like, oh, 6 hours is plenty. But um, the more sleep I get, the better I feel and the more clear I feel. So I used to feel so guilty about oversleeping or sleeping in or just resting in general. So now I don't feel that way. I really stay connected to other projectors and like other teachers in human design and learning my chart and learning about my astrology and everything to know like, hey, yeah, you're good. You're good to sleep. Like don't, because that's how I process and like can better, hear spirit and source too is through my dreams and in the sleep realm. And then meditation too every morning. Now that my son is 2, it's a little easier because he sleeps through the night really well and I can wake up a little bit earlier than him most days to just go outside, especially now since it's summer, going outside and just sitting for an hour and meditating and doing gentle yoga or just whatever kind of yoga, maybe Kundalini or um, I do some different kriyas or mantras, chanting. My neighbors probably they have a fence. They can probably only just hear me chant, but um, those really like it lately. Chanting has been really good for my throat. I'm doing chakra opening meditations or past life regressions, that kind of thing. Just like, just love it. I get excited to wake up just to sit outside, drink cacao, and meditate. So, and then also another interesting thing about projectors that I find for myself is like when I do life, like I like to work out, I still like to work out and do that. I find that my workouts are a lot better if I have a trainer or if I'm in a class for yoga or um, I'm working out in a gym setting where there's like other people, like where I'm seen. I'm not really saying anything. I'm just like in my own energy, but also getting the energy from the outside world. It helps me a bunch versus doing things by myself. And then I had a business mentor too who told me um, in the pandemic when I first started my business, this is so brilliant that it ran across. This is before I even knew about human design. He said, go on Facebook stories and just share your life. Like, get your phone out, talk to the camera, like, be like, hey, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm doing this. And just share that. Like, be seen
Yeah.
in your own inspiration. And that really helped grow my business so much. Like, it built like a really solid trust with the people I felt like who followed me. It's funny because my now husband, he followed me on social media for like 2 years. So it's like he knew so much about my life. And I like it's funny because he like really knew who I was because I was just like sharing my stuff all the time, like sharing my ideas, like, hey, I'm drinking my water right now, like, hey, doing this podcast or whatever. Like doing that really helped my energy because I was getting other people's energy through the power of Facebook and social media connections. So, yeah. And then just doing those clearings, like Kundalini really helps me, like doing breath work. And um, yeah, I think that's why Reiki really resonates with me a lot too, because I'm taking in a lot of people's energy as a projector. It's just like we're taking in their energy so we can have energy. So doing Reiki like clears away what I don't need. And
For someone who doesn't really understand what a projector is, what is it? How can you describe simply like what taking other people's energy is and is like what that kind of feels like, or describe it a little bit more in depth for some.
yeah. Gotcha. So something that I struggled with when I first started my yoga teaching business, my everything holistic LLC is my business. But when I first started it, I really tried to do it by myself, like, which is so crazy to say now because I know that connections are everything for gaining a business and a client base and everything. But I just thought it was like, oh, you run Facebook ads or you run an ad on the radio or something, and that was how you would get clients or whatever, or just do posts on Facebook and advertise what I offered, advertise Reiki, advertise these yoga classes. Um, but that definitely depletes my energy. Um, and it's just saying yes to, it feels like in my body, like it's so funny because like even just like anytime I'm by myself or like kind of like close my energy off, I just feel like sometimes that is just like meditating. I connect to earth and nature and my higher power. But sometimes like if I'm just like around the house doing housework as a mom, like I just feel like kind of like restricted and low energy. Like I get grouchy, I get aggravated, I get a common theme of projectors when they're in their not self or not aligned is I believe it's frustration. Like we get frustrated. I'm trying to pull this hair off my face, but I don't know where it is. Anyway, so I get that frustration, and then like just like literally like as soon as I hop on a Zoom with a client or I go to the gym and see people, like instantly, like I can feel like it's just like hello, like it just floods my being with energy. Like I just literally get motivated, or I can just feel it in my solar plexus where it's like,
Yeah. So like socializing like empowers your natural authentic being to come out.
yeah. But in a balance with self. Like I have to be with myself too. Like if I'm in a social setting for too long, it's like, okay, I need to release. I need to be by myself to release this extra. Like it's like too much. It's like eating too much candy or something. Like, so it's definitely a balance because after a while, yeah, I'm just like, I know this about myself. Like if I do a retreat where I'm like around people all day, at the end of the day, I'm gonna need to sleep like for 8, 9, 10 hours, or just be by myself, like out in nature by myself, which is
Yeah.
hard having a toddler because it's like, okay, I can't just always send them to my cousin's house or the neighbors or my sitter or something. This little
But that
human still relies on me, and being married too, like having my husband lead is like he like I'll come home from a retreat or something. He'll be like, okay, let's go to church and do this thing, and I'll be like, okay, no, I can't. I cannot go to church right now. I have to be in my own energy right now and connect to connect to that inner guidance, that inner wisdom.
yeah,
Release.
that time to recharge, to come back to yourself is so important and so valid.
Mm-hmm.
I actually relate to a lot of what you share because I value that. I absolutely love connecting with other people. I love those opportunities at, different educational seminars and retreats to connect with people. But then I want to go back to my hotel room and I want to lay in silence with the lights off for like 40 minutes and not talk to anybody. Like it's just a part of it. And
Mm.
it's really good to take care of yourself in those ways when you feel like you need it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I actually hired a business mentor this past year. I was just like a divine, like our spirit guides just brought us right together. She's so awesome. But I was doing a lot of in-person Reiki, like $80 an hour sessions. I had my Healy readings, which is like a device that reads the chakras. And I would add like, I have my Saluma light here is in-person sessions. So it's like this light therapy healing. Um, so, like an hour and a half of my time, I'd make $140 or so. And, have a pretty consistent like schedule, like Monday, Thursday, Saturdays, I'd be full with clients. But I just got super burnt out doing that. I did that for like 2 years since Malachi was born, just trying to like figure out like how to work my business with a toddler and daycare and babysitting schedule. So I got into this routine of like being a client-based provider of Reiki and these healing services. Plus, I was teaching 3 in-person yoga classes a week at a gym, and I got so burnt out. I just got so freaking burnt out, and I was like, I need to. I have an offer. It's called Limitless. It's my signature program where it teaches women how to release that emotional baggage, balance their hormones, deepen their intuition. But it's like a transformational program. But it's a high ticket. It's high ticket. Like where I make a lot more per hour doing that because it's a higher price thing. And my business mentor is like, yeah, you got to do that. Like projectors don't need to work more. They don't need to be more with people like that all day. Like if you can do like 2 or 3 high ticket clients like that a month, that for you is way more better for your energy. So a couple months ago, I raised my rates, like literally tripled my price to where I don't have as many clients. And it's kind of weird because I'm like, like where, like, what am I supposed to do today? I don't have to be on the schedule till like 3 days from now. But like, I'm going to show up so much stronger and more in alignment. Like, I'll have more clarity. I'm able to create higher quality content. When I show up for those clients, I'm like so ready. And that's just felt really, really good, especially now that I'm pregnant too, like carrying around
Wow.
another human too, I feel like affects my
You're
energy levels and like,
you're also working in your worth. You know, you are valuing your time, you're valuing the energy that you put into your efforts, you're showing up to that client in this new, refreshed, refined way, and you're more refreshed because you're getting more rest and you're not working all the time. And there's so much value in that for both sides.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Because a lot of the women I work with, they're also busy moms feeling burnt out. Like they need to see that I'm taking care of myself too. And it's just leading by example, really. Yeah, it's scary. It was hard. I remember the first time I was like, my session is 247 an hour. Like I remember the person was just like, oh, okay, like they were like paying me on the spot, like on the phone. And I was just so nervous. But I showed up to that session like just just strong, like very intuitive. I mean, Reiki is one of these things like it can't be like groggy and like to get these messages that people are wanting and needing and everything. Like I can't be showing up there tired and rushed and under pressure and stuff like that. So it was neat because I've been seeing a lot more in my sessions lately too when I do Reiki or these intuitive Reiki healing um, sessions. So
Yeah, I
that's
relate to that with doing pranic healing, which is very similar. And I mean, it's difficult to sometimes you have to, reschedule if you're having an off day and you're just not feeling well, or, something came up and your energy's off. Sometimes it's better to reschedule and not do because maybe you're just like not in the right state of mind or frame of reference or whatever's going on. So I'm curious, you said that you've had some changes recently. In relation to that, what does that change look like for you intuitively? Is this new messages that you're receiving? Is this you're actually like seeing with your inner sight?
yeah, for sure. Like I almost go into like a deep dream state when I'm with clients doing Reiki, or even too, like just on with Limitless, like doing these coaching calls, like just getting these downloads that are just really from source, instead of just like ego or what I think the person should be doing with their diet or with their nutrition, or um, just seeing into like when I should reach out to my client, and it's always the perfect time. And even too, like even my yoga classes, um, I've been just really following my own flow versus, I think we talked about this when you did my session on
Yeah.
me, like just following my own flow versus like, oh, here's the script of like this book that I have that says when you first start, you need to do this and you have to build up the energy and do this pose and then this and that. And I've just been finding that I've had a lot more people returning to yoga classes and just being a lot more happier after class, or just feeling like I said, that they're like, you said the exact thing I needed to hear today, or you did the pose that, how'd you know I need to do those pigeons today? Like I needed those for my hips. I was doing this and that. Just like spirit guides
Yeah.
me through, and I just take it breath by breath and just try to receive that message. I mean, I'm no perfect person. I'm still like very much in a human. So there's times where it's like, where are you, God? Where are you? Like, I can't hear you. I'm not, where are you right now? And like, my husband's so spiritual too. He's like, oh, just humanize God, like, make God more of like, your friend or somebody that you just deeply trust, and talk to them like you would talk to a good friend that you can relate with. And then that helps me. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You bringing that up really makes me remember, uh, I also see, God as a part of myself. And sometimes when it feels like I'm completely alone or I can't connect, I look within. And it's a lot easier to reconnect and to be like, okay, we're here. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Like sometimes it's literally just breathing. It's like, okay, just breathe. Like God's in your breath, in your lungs right now. And it's like, there you are. Okay. Okay.
But
Very
yeah,
cool.
I totally relate to that. And there's a certain amount of there's a certain amount of that masculine, that structure, but there's a certain amount of that feminine, that flow that really allows you to create in a way that serves others to their highest needs. And it's really beautiful that you've been able to discover that and let off on your schedule and really nurture yourself and share that with others. Uh, I am curious, in your opinion, how can others tap into that magic themselves to create the life that they envision?
Mm. Yeah. 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 I love that. That's what it's really all about. Like, I feel like in my own journey, for a minute, it had to be me literally doing verbatim exactly, like if my mentor would have said jump off a bridge, I would have jumped off the bridge. If like my mentor would have said do this, I would have did this with my business. Like I would verbatim follow what somebody I thought was a leader, like an authority figure, would tell me, and I would follow that verbatim. And that was good. Like it did give me some really good structure. It gave me like how to get on a sales call and make money and close sales. Like it gave me lead generation opportunities and this and that. But there came a point in my journey where it was like, I don't require somebody telling me how to do every little thing in my business, in my life, in my health journey. Um, so it's just like following your curiosity. Like, follow what you're curious about. If you're curious about Reiki, like I was curious about Reiki, my mom was like, oh my God, it cured my migraine headaches. And I was curious. So I followed that. And that's where I found the connection to source. Even though I had grown up in Sunday school and had perfect attendance at my Good News Club on Wednesdays and memorized all the Bible verses, like that just didn't do it for me. Like follow what you feel curiosity around. Like if you feel curious about Buddhism or Hinduism or Christianity or whatever, just follow that intuition, like follow through. Like if there's somebody that, like if you follow somebody on social media and they're really speaking truth to you, like hire them to be your mentor. If they have the life you want, look at the fruit of their life. Do they have the marriage you want? Are they a mom like you want to be a mom? Or are they a parent like you want to be a parent? Then go for it. Yeah. Like don't just blindly follow somebody because they say you should. Like there's so many, it drives me crazy on IG. There's like,
It's
this
like
is a good PCOS recipe. This is a good recipe for you if you have PCOS. And it's like, there's so much more to it than just this one recipe, like for PCOS. Like, yeah, it's probably not bad, but it's like, that's only like a tiny snippet of the whole piece of the pie of what can help with PCOS, for example. Um, so yeah, follow that curiosity, follow your intuition. If you're stuck and you don't know what your intuition is trying to say, the best thing, like in my experience, the best thing that helps me tap into it is literally just breathing in the moment, like deep breathing. I go to yoga, that really helped me too, just like open up to clarity of my intuition, like what's my voice versus everybody else's racket. Like moving my body seemed to like get the distractions of like back pain and you know sore shoulder or legs or something, like get that out of the way so that I was clear. Otherwise, just creating that moment, just even if it's a pause in your day, like just sitting down after like you get home from your heavy workload day, just sitting down on your couch and just take a breath and like, a lot of times that's when I was found myself binge eating is when I got home because I was trying to like get away from all of that. But it's like just come home to you, take those breaths, go within. It can be a scary place to go sometimes if you're not used to it, or I know for me it was just like, how do I do this? And then my mentor would ask me a question, why don't you go within? So yeah, learning causes and um,
yeah.
reasons why, really helps. Like, why am I not doing this? Why am I procrastinating?
Or getting curious about the emotions that come up, that resistance to something that you think is good for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. For so long I overate because I was fearful of like what would happen if I didn't overeat. So yeah, I agree 100%.
So I'm curious, thank you for sharing. First off, thank you so much for sharing. You've shared so much about your life and about how your life was shaped through all these different experiences and how these experiences led to your own conscious awakening. And it's truly incredible and very personable to share. So I really want to honor that because
Mm.
I mean, it's a challenging journey and it's really deep emotions to share. It's deep experiences that you've been through, that you were vulnerable and open. And I really value that. So I do want to thank you for that. I also relate to a lot of the experiences that you went through, and I would imagine that some of our listeners also do. I mean, that's part of life. It's part of understanding the ego and understanding why we're here and what we're trying to do, but also trying to relate to others and get comfortable in the environment. So I'm curious, what's your next big aspiration on your journey of consciousness transformation?
Gosh, that's such a good question. I'm like halfway giddy excited to answer this. I'm excited to have my baby. It's gonna be good. I've been doing a lot of visualizations about like a smooth birth experience. I feel like she's a girl, but we haven't found out gender for sure. Um, but I definitely see us, like me and my husband talk about this. It's just a matter of like making it happen. It's like moving. We're in southern Indiana, but I really see myself moving to Florida or somewhere coastal. Who knows? Maybe we really love Tulum, Mexico. We got to go there a few years ago, so I can see us moving somewhere much more south and tropical. Um, RV life might speak to us. I'm really excited. My son hasn't been vaccinated one time. Like we're completely natural with him, and he's just such a joy and just such a healthy kid. Like he's coughing right now, and my sitter told me yesterday Malachi never gets sick. Like he doesn't get sick. So yesterday we gave him some oregano, and he like really reduced his cough, and he started eating and like being wild and crazy like he normally is. So homeschooling and just continuing this conscious path. Um, with my program Limitless is really, really a fun thing for me to offer to people that where it's like, yeah, it's not a quick fix. Like it's a transformational program. It's not gonna be like a $1,000 program. Like it's gonna change your life. And I know that and I trust that. And it's just for me, it's like just get out of the way, like you said, get the ego out of the way. My husband just started his own business too, which I'm really excited about. He's on his own spiritual journey, so I'm excited just to see what his ideas are for leading because I can see him helping a lot of people. He already does in his own, like even though he's does construction, like he really helps a lot of people with his journey too and recovering, and he's had some struggles with suicide and depression and all kinds of things. So um, just maybe collaborating with him would be amazing if he ever asked me to.
Yeah. When you think it, you're starting to shape it. So who knows what could be in the future.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And to our listeners, I will link in the description how you can connect with Valerie if you're interested in any of her programs, any transformation for your own life. It can really, really change a lot. It can change a lot on your path. It can help you to hone in on your true capacity and your abilities so that you can shine on and be a better version of yourself. Valerie, do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom for our listeners today?
I'm just so glad that we connected, Sammy. I definitely feel like it was not a coincidence or just like some, I don't know, like force thing. Like this was like, I love your vibe. I love just being in your energy. So I'm really just honored to be in your energy, to be in your space and to let you let me share my message with your people. So I'm grateful.
It's a pleasure to have
Mhm.
you and received so well. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to share this with you. I also believe in synchronicity and I know that we met like so by chance, but it was so meant to be. And one thing that really stands out to me is some of our life experiences are so parallel, yet we're on, slightly different paths, but they're so parallel. And I think it can be really beautiful as we continue to grow and stay connected and share the beauties of our efforts with others and really help them to grow too.
Mhm.
Life is service and learning constantly.
I hear that. Yes. Yes. Mhm.
So before we sign off, I like to do a short meditation. So those of you who are driving or moving around, if it's not safe for you, don't do this. You can pause it. You can do it later. But we're going to go ahead and close our eyes. We're going to tune into our breath and just find the breath in the belly. Let it sigh out. Just noticing the breath elongating, inhale and exhale. Recognizing any thoughts, any emotions coming through the attention. And just consciously watching them like commercials, just passing by. Bringing your awareness back into the breath, into this moment with yourself, with your body. And here we'll connect as one, allowing the breath to flow naturally, bringing our attention and awareness to the space between each breath, that short bit of silence. Recognizing that peace and connection, and the love. Recognizing that this is within you, within your access at any moment, any time. As you're ready, slowly opening your eyes with a big, big smile on your face. Feeling this interconnectedness that we all share and carrying it with you throughout the rest of your day in your heart. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you all. And as always, stay blissfully lit.